When they built the original synagogue upon which this foundation is, out of black basalt, they had it oriented to what they thought was a correct orientation towards the temple in Jerusalem, which is what they did when they built synagogues. They oriented the front of those buildings towards Jerusalem. When they rebuilt this synagogue, and they traditionally built them in the same place, when they reconstructed it, and out of a later stone, an imported stone, they decided that the orientation of this synagogue was incorrect, and so they corrected it. Now this synagogue here, the synagogue that originally sat on these foundation stones, was not 2nd or 3rd or 4th century AD, it was 1st century. Now what am I telling you? The synagogue upon which sat on these foundation stones was here when?
Jesus was teaching.
Okay? This is Capernaum. We know that with certainty. This was the position of the synagogue. When Jesus taught in the synagogue in Capernaum, where did he teach? He taught in that airspace. Okay? He taught in that airspace. Here he healed the nobleman's son. You remember us talking about that earlier? He healed the nobleman's son here, but he wasn't here. He was in Cana. Then he cast out an unclean spirit in this city. He healed the centurion's servant here. He healed Peter's mother-in-law here. Talked about that earlier. He stood at the door of the home he was staying in and healed many on one evening from that place in this city. He healed a paralytic in this city. He raised the daughter of Jairus from the dead in this place. He healed a woman with an issue of blood. You remember when she came up behind him and touched the hem of his garment and was healed through her faith, and Jesus said, "Somebody has touched me." That happened in this city. He healed 2 blind men that lived here. He healed a man that was possessed with a dumb spirit in the synagogue. And he provided here a tribute of a coin that came out of a fish's mouth that Peter caught. Here. Okay? Now this city was a fishing village. And it was located literally, as it still is, right on the very shore, the north shore of the Sea of Galilee. All of those miracles and more he performed here. But then he did something else that is of significance. So let's go now up into the synagogue. This is Capernaum,
commonly referred to as Christ City, and Clint and I are standing in a synagogue that was built around the 2nd or 3rd century. It's built over the exact foundation of the original synagogue that stood at the time of Christ, the synagogue that Christ preached the Bread of Life sermon in. This very space right here, these scriptures come to life, and they are real right here, this moment. I'll take you into the synagogue where he would have given that sermon, in this airspace right here. Now right here,